What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. And I want to talk about Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyly Lomachenko. Good, solid fight. Both men did what they had to do. And Teofimo, this is his you want to say his first big signature win. And going into this fight, most people was picking Lomachenko to win. I saw some things in Lopez that I just felt like he could beat Lomachenko. He has the tools to beat him. And one of the big things that I see with a lot of people, I don't know what it is nowadays. Maybe because a lot of boxers nowadays, it's like they skip the basic boxing fundamentals and want to be flashy or whatever, And because of that, I think a lot of times people just underestimate. I think in this case, with Lopez, I think it's just because it was Lomachenko. Like, Lomachenko looked so good against other people. I guess people just felt like, he was going to be too much for Lopez. That it was going to be one of those situations where another good fighter comes up against a great fighter. But I've been saying for the longest that I think Lopez could beat Lomachenko, man. He got the skills. I could see it there. Sometimes it has to happen for people to, really get it. Everybody really doesn't see the same things at the same time. Definitely was no robbery. Okay, there was no robbery. And it definitely was a situation where, Lopez showed, like, I'm on that level. You can't talk about any top pound for pound fighters and not talk about me. You can't do it. You can't see legitimately when you speak about top fighters. It doesn't matter whether you like the fighters or not. Okay, it's all about their actual position. And when people speak off emotion, they're not going to be legit. Lopez, he did things that I've seen him do in other fights. That, just his maturity, his poise. He kept it long. I gave him the first 7 rounds. I gave him the first. Now I don't even know if on the scorecards, if Loma won 8, 9, and 10, but those was his best rounds out the whole fight. That's when he turned it up, and he really started to, try to put the attack on. But 11 and 12. I don't know how they went. But definitely it was no robbery. Loma said he felt like he won the fight. I don't feel like he won the fight, but look, man, the guy kept it long, and what he was doing smart. Okay, what he was doing, and this is what I mean about his maturity. He does have the boxing fundamentals. He was jabbing. He was keeping it long. He was 1-2, 1-2, jab, right hand, jab, jab, right hand. Right? He was countering long. He was countering short. He was making Lomachenko miss. He was making him pay. He was countering to the body. He was attacking to the body. He was when Lomachenko has great footwork. When Lomachenko would move, he did one simple thing that people seem to always forget. Right? He get that angle in the lean and he pivot. And when he would pivot, he was fire. You understand? He wasn't letting Lomachenko get set. He wasn't letting him get in the position to throw those shots from those awkward angles. And people saying Lomachenko held back too much. No, it's not that he held back. Okay, he was getting cracked coming in, and he was trying to, how do I get in without having to take these blows early? On top of that, where where both of you are strong, both of you are fresh, but he was getting countered. He couldn't get past that jab, man. He was getting clocked with those shots, man. He was getting hit with a lot of big shots early. So basically, what happens if you start to get hit early? You start getting cut. You start getting bruised up early in the fight. It's bound to fall apart from there and just go all downhill. It can happen. So Lomachenko kept his poise too. He was patient, but he was trying. And when he was throwing his shots and loading up, trying to land combinations instead of just trying to get a 1-2 in, he had some success in the later rounds, but overall, it was a solid fight. I don't think either one of them have, Lomachenko don't have anything to have his head held down about. As soon as somebody loses, people start trying to kick them when they down. Lomachenko stood his grounds. He did what he could do that night, and I just feel like that Lopez is just a better fighter, man. And I know people had to see it to believe it. You saw it. So this was one of those fights to me where it wasn't a 50-50. I mean, the end result. And it wasn't a 50-50 fight. It wasn't the type of thing where, people ask about a rematch. And look, the way I see it, okay, there's no need for a rematch. Now, if they want to do it again, I mean, I'm pretty sure Lomachenko wants his belt back. I'm pretty sure his belt's back. I'm pretty sure he won it. But even at the post conference, when they asked that question, I'm not big on rematches. I'm big on a rematch if a fight, if I feel that it was a robbery. Of course, if it's in a contract, and this is where Team Lomachenko screwed up. They didn't even have a rematch clause. How crazy is that? There was no rematch clause because they pretty much felt like the fans. I'm gonna walk through this guy. I'm gonna beat him. He can't beat me. There was no rematch clause. So there's no mandatory rematch. My thing is, it was a good fight, but it wasn't a close fight. Because Lomachenko he was doing what he does. But like I said, I saw something in Lopez like a while ago where I said, yeah, this guy can beat Lomachenko. They fight. This was like last year, and I'm like, I'm going with Lopez over Lomachenko. I just feel like he got some things you can explain it, but not so much as to put it in words. It's a feeling you get when you see certain things. Like, yeah, he got it. He has it, and that's what I felt with Lopez, man. Like, I mean, just look at what he was doing. He controlled the distance. I mean, the fact that, look, he fought, and one of the reasons why I was so proud of his performance is because he did what you're supposed to, okay? And this wasn't even about a huge height advantage, a huge reach advantage. It was smart boxing. It really, like when I see tall, lanky fighters with long reaches fighting in a phone booth, man, it's like, why are you just making the fight harder for yourself? Why? But yeah, Lopez, I mean, he did everything. He was doing everything. Everything. The body shots, the wear and tear. And listen, he was hurting Lomachenko with those shots. Lomachenko felt his power. That's why he wasn't coming in so early. My thing was, now, he could have been trying to take him into deep waters, hoping that he'd get tired. He could have been trying to do that. I feel like it could have been that. It could have been he was, I strongly feel like he felt that power early. The sharpness, the quickness of those shots, and he was being careful because he realized, like, yeah, okay, this guy's, he's throwing the right punches. His punch selection is just, he kept it tight, kept it long, and he was sharp. And Loma, having the presence of mind to know, okay, now is not the time to try to, throw, so many punches around, because Lomachenko outwork you, crazy footwork, give you those crazy angles, and make you fight at a pace you don't want to. Lopez wouldn't let him get set, wouldn't let him get comfortable. Like I said, I mean, he was doing everything he was supposed to do. And my thing is this, okay? If he had a loss, nobody wouldn't have said, oh, he was just too inexperienced, too young. They wouldn't have said that. Guys like Floyd was what, 20, 21, 20, when he, 21, 22, whatever, when they first won their first championship. Mike Tyson, Ali, Wilfredo Benitez was only 17. It's like nowadays, guys are not getting their recognition as a marquee name until they're like 30 years old. What the fuck? Is after 30, I mean, I remember watching a fight when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Donnie Lalonde. Sugar Ray was only 32 years old, and they were saying, can he get this 32-year-old body to respond, and can he do this at 32? Like, goddamn, y'all make 32 sound like 62. So I'm not understanding, like, now, like what all of a sudden we forget history. We forget these young great champions people was winning titles at early ages. There's always this thing they say that by the time you learn everything you need to learn about boxing, you're already on your way out. Okay, well, at 30 years old, it's not like these guys are fighting 5 or 6 times a year. Most fighters, especially when they become big names, maybe twice a year. Maybe twice a year. So, you know, right now, with what just went down, and with the Tank Davises, with you know, you know, Ryan Garcia and all these guys. Look, all of these guys right now are in their primes. Okay, it's not about rushing a fight just to say we got the fight. You want that build-up. You want that anticipation. You want the fight to feel big. You don't want it to just feel like, oh, it's just another fight. Just throw it on and let's see who wins and get it over with. No, you want to enjoy the build-up to the event. You want to enjoy the event. People are getting to the point, we're getting too fucking greedy to the point where we're not even being realistic about even building up fights. You know, like, why would anybody just care about a fight when if everything we get is just going to be right then and there, right there, right then and there, and just no build up, no climax? I'm not talking about no 3, 4, 5 fucking years from now. I mean, no. What I'm saying is, let the fights marinate. Let it build up. You know, because we got these guys right now in their primes, and we want to see these fights happen. But not only should they get the fights, but package these guys right. Promote them, give them their props. Stop fucking talking all this pro PBC, pro Matchroom. Oh, you know, we want to see fights, right? That's what we want to see. One of the first things I thought about when they was asking Lopez about what he possibly think about going to 140, he said 140, he wouldn't be dehydrated and he'd feel stronger, can do more at 140. And I'm thinking, Josh Taylor, Lopez. Josh Taylor, Lopez. I think, and look, also what I was thinking, I said Adrian Broner, as far as I'm concerned, right? I think he picked 140, not so much just because, oh, I'm comfortable at 140. You know, he went for it. Look, he lost at 147, right? And said, I'm not going to keep fighting these big guys. That's what he said. Adrian Broner's not a small guy himself. When he's like not training, Adrian Broner gets really fat, all right? Now, in terms of fight weight, skills pay the bills, man. If Adrian would listen to his trainers and fucking focus, Adrian could fight at 147 and beat guys. But Adrian, to me, his biggest downfall is his mind. And I think he chose 140 more so because you got guys that can fight, but I don't think he really see any threats there. Now Mikey Garcia's no longer there, but Josh Taylor's there. And if Lopez comes to 140, if he goes to 140, I mean, you know, and not saying that Adrian should duck anybody, no. But I think there's 2 automatic losses on Adrian's record if he does. And I like Adrian Broner as a fighter, man, but like, I'm just keeping it real with what I see. I don't see him beating either one of them. He might not even beat Ramirez, who was fighting Josh Taylor. So, but yeah, I mean, if Josh Taylor handles his business, and if that does happen, that he actually does go up to 140, he probably won't do it anytime soon because he's unified champion. So I don't see like a rush. But let's just say they both keep their winning ways going, and let's say he does come to 140 and then they meet. That's going to be a super fight. And hopefully, you know, that when these guys become champions and they start to build their profile up, and, you know, hopefully, you know, these fighters can bring in a new era. They can usher in a new era where we're not going to have, you know, fighters not wanting to fight, promotions not wanting to see the best fighters fight each other. Because even a lot of times the fighters, when they talk, like, they'll criticize somebody else that's in the same seat with them, but then fight a lesser opponent and give that opponent credit, and it's like it becomes annoying. One of the big things that I noticed, you know, is, like I said, when these guys turn like 30 years old, 31, 32, they start to just get recognition. You know, not even because they're late bloomers, man, just because they simply just don't get the recognition. You know, we want to see these fights happen, but like, as you have a new generation of fighters coming in, like I said, package them right, promote them right. You know, we keep knocking the not the people. It's like people are skipping over the politics and knocking the fighters. They're not understanding. These fighters want to fight, but a lot of times these guys, you know, it's bitter. It's really bitter rivalries. Like people really don't like each other. Somebody is the cash cow between the two, and sometimes they just feel like, hey, you know, they'll maybe spiteful. I mean, it's petty and all of that. Cause look, just get there, you know, make it happen. You know, properly compensate these fighters, and let's make it happen. But at the end of the day, you know, we want to see the best fighters. We want to see the best fights. We want to see it. You know, and like I said, not just randomly throw names out and expect guys to just go up and down and fight this guy and this guy just because we say so. But no, you should want to fight the best competition. And you know, right now within that range of weight classes, we got some matches that could really spark a real fire, man. And we'll have some great matches if these fights happen. But again, with the politics in boxing, you really don't know how things are going to go. And one thing that people need to stop doing is talking about everybody know the Floyd Mayweather blueprint. First of all, Floyd Mayweather, as Pretty Boy Floyd, wasn't always the A side. When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was destroying everybody. You know, and when he had a close fight with Castillo, people, you know, like, oh, he lost the fight. He definitely lost. Okay, well, even if you feel that way, he's not going to take the loss off his record. And I'm not saying that I agree with that shit. What I'm saying is, regardless to what, Floyd was doing the damn thing then. Floyd was doing it as Floyd Mayweather. It wasn't just because he became the cash cow. But what happens, like I said before, Floyd is telling you, my body's starting to break down, man. My hands are getting brittle. My hands are hurting after fights. And at the end of the day, it's easy to sit here and say what a fighter didn't do, and this fighter, he did this, and this one ducked this one, and this one did this. But at the end of the day, you know what it really comes down to? The hard work and dedication that he put in, you know, it paid off. And listen, cherry picks go wrong. We've seen many cherry picks go wrong. So it's not like because you handpick somebody that automatically you're going to win the fight. And I would rather see, you know, I think we all would rather see the very best fights happen. But understand this, okay? Floyd Mayweather is the only fighter in the position that he's in. Think about how many fighters left this sport broke. ESPN ain't doing shit for them, but they're playing their reruns. Why these guys are laying up somewhere, can barely feed themselves, can barely function. So it's like, why do people keep using Floyd? And I'm not taking it personal, don't even care on a personal level. What I'm saying, logically, listen to, why do people keep using Floyd? Like, oh, everybody want to be Floyd. Everybody want to be, no, first off, Floyd, okay, was a world champion at 21. You got guys, like I said, they're walking around here, they're not getting recognition until they're 30 years old. Okay, so he already has a 9-year fucking leap on him. How you going to be Floyd and you can't even sell a pay-per-view? How you going to be Floyd when you getting your first pay-per-view in your damn early 30s? So, you know, and even though that's when he got his, what I'm saying, he was champion at a young age. He didn't become champion at 28, 29. He was champion at 21. So, you know, and this is what I'm saying. People keep saying that everybody's trying to be Floyd. It's not about trying to be Floyd. It's not about trying to be Floyd. But people should want to make sure that they're properly compensated. And that's why I'm saying, pay these guys their money. Like I always say, nobody's paying to fucking see Mauricio Suleiman or Al Heyman or Bob Arum. They're paying to see the fighters. But look, people, that's all I'm going to say on this video. It was a great fight and it was a very good fight. The better man won. There's no I told you so. No. I just felt like he had what it took to win, and he did. So, look, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. I will catch y'all on the next one.